good morning, or good evening, or whatever time it is wherever you are right now. However you found this podcast today, on a commute, during a quiet break, lying in bed before the day starts, I want you to know this is a good place to be. This is your slow, warm space for English. And today, we are talking about something that matters more than any vocabulary list or grammar rule.
What could matter more than vocabulary and grammar?
Smiles, the habit of learning. Because the most brilliant study material in the world does nothing if you only open it once a month. The learner who does 10 minutes of English every single day will always outpace the learner who does 3 hours once a week. Always. And today, we are going to talk about how to build that daily habit, not just for a week, but for good.
I need this. I have started English study habits so many times. Apps, notebooks, YouTube courses, flashcard systems. I always start with so much energy, and then life gets busy and it just fades.
And every time it fades, you feel guilty. And the guilt makes starting again feel even harder. Because now it is not just starting, it is starting again, after failing again.
Yes, exactly that. The starting again feeling is heavier than the original start.
I know that feeling well. And today, we are going to break that cycle for good. Not with more motivation, not with a better app, with a smarter understanding of how habits actually work and how to build one that does not collapse when life gets difficult. Welcome, everyone. I'm Mia.
And I'm Leo. If you have started and stopped English study more times than you can count, welcome. This one is for us. Please subscribe to World English Podcast so you never miss an episode. Let's begin.
Let me start with something that might change how you think about language learning entirely. The research on language acquisition is clear. The single biggest predictor of success is not intelligence, not the method you use, not how expensive your course is. It is contact time. How many hours your brain spends in contact with the language.
Just time, not quality of study?
Quality matters, but quantity over time matters more. And here's the thing about time. It is cumulative. 10 minutes a day adds up to over 60 hours in a year. 60 hours of English exposure. That is significant, but only if it actually happens every day. 10 minutes a day that fades after 3 weeks gives you nothing.
So the habit is the multiplier. Without the habit, all the good intentions and good materials produce almost nothing.
Exactly. Think about it like watering a plant. One big flood of water every 2 weeks and one small consistent watering every day. Which plant survives? The consistently watered one. Your English is the plant. Consistency is the water. And you do not need a flood. You need a daily trickle.
And most people are trying to flood. They go hard for a week and then stop for 3, and the plant keeps almost dying and almost recovering.
Almost dying and almost recovering. That is most people's English journey. And it's exhausting because you never feel like you are making real progress. Every time you come back, you feel like you are starting from zero again. The habit is what prevents that. The habit is what lets compounding happen.
Compounding.
In finance, compounding means your money earns interest on its interest, small amounts growing into large ones over time. In language learning, compounding means each day you learn something new that builds on everything you learned before. Your vocabulary connects to your grammar, which connects to your listening, which connects to your speaking. Everything feeds everything, but only if the chain stays unbroken. The habit is the chain. Before the strategies, let's understand why English learning habits collapse. Because if you understand the mechanism of failure, you can build around it.
Why do they collapse? Because life gets busy?
Life getting busy is the trigger, but the real reason is that the habit was too big, too dependent on motivation, and not attached to anything stable in your day. When motivation was high, you studied. When motivation dropped, the whole thing fell apart because there was nothing holding it up except feeling like it.
And motivation always drops. It is not a reliable foundation.
Motivation is a wave. It rises and it falls. A good habit does not need to ride the wave. A good habit is more like the tide. It happens regardless of the weather. The second reason habits collapse is the all or nothing trap. You miss one day and your brain says, well, the streak is broken now. I might as well wait until Monday and start fresh. And Monday becomes next month.
I have been waiting for a Monday for approximately 3 years.
And the third reason, the habit was not enjoyable. You were forcing yourself through material you found boring or too difficult. And sustainable habits need some degree of enjoyment. Not every session has to be exciting, but if every session feels like punishment, the habit will not survive a period of low motivation.
So, a habit that survives long term has to be small enough to survive busy days, independent of motivation, and at least a little enjoyable.
You just described the ideal English learning habit. Now, let's build it. Strategy 1. Make it tiny on purpose. Not because you are lazy, because tiny habits survive everything.
How tiny are we talking?
5 minutes. Seriously, if you cannot guarantee 10 minutes every day, commit to 5. 5 minutes of listening to English while you make your morning coffee. 5 minutes of reading 1 page before bed. 5 minutes of reviewing 3 new words during your lunch break. 5 minutes is so small, your brain cannot justify skipping it.
I can find 5 minutes even on the worst days.
That is the entire point. On good days, you will do 20 or 30 minutes, but your commitment is 5, the minimum. And the minimum is what keeps the chain alive on hard days, because keeping the chain alive, no matter how small the link, is what builds the identity of an English learner. And identity is what sustains habits long after motivation has come and gone.
So, you're not committing to being perfect, you're committing to showing up every day, even if it's tiny.
Even if it is tiny. Strategy 2. Attach your English habit to something that already exists in your day.
Habit stacking. We talked about this in the habits episode.
Exactly. And it is so powerful for English specifically. Think about your existing daily anchors. Your morning coffee or tea, your commute, your lunch, your shower, your time before sleep. These things happen whether you are motivated or not. They are stable, reliable. Attach your English habit to one of them and it inherits that stability.
So instead of I will study English today, it becomes after I pour my morning coffee, I will listen to 10 minutes of English.
And the coffee becomes the trigger. You do not need to remember to study. You do not need to feel motivated. The coffee cup appears and your brain automatically cues the English. After a few weeks, it feels wrong not to listen while the coffee brews.
Pavlov's English learner. The coffee bell rings and you reach for your podcast.
Exactly. That's exactly what you want. One anchor, one habit, deeply connected. You can have multiple anchors for multiple English activities. Morning coffee, listening. Evening walk, speaking, self-talk. Before sleep, reading 1 page in English. 3 activities, 3 anchors, all automatic. Strategy 3. Choose English content you actually enjoy. This sounds obvious, but most people force themselves through material they find boring because they think studying should feel serious.
What kind of content works best?
Whatever you would consume anyway, but in English. You love cooking? Follow English cooking YouTube channels. You love drama or comedy? Watch English shows. You love true crime? Listen to English true crime podcasts. You love football? Listen to English sports commentary. The content is not the point. The English in the content is the point.
So I can turn my existing interests into English study without it feeling like study at all.
Yes, and when it doesn't feel like study, you don't resist it. You look forward to it. And something you look forward to is something you keep doing. Enjoyment is not a luxury in habit building. It's the fuel.
So the best English habit is one you would do even if nobody told you it was good for your English.
That's the dream version, and it's more reachable than most people think. Strategy 4. Never miss twice. We've said this before, but for English habits specifically, it needs its own emphasis.
Because missing once is so easy to spiral from?
So easy. You miss one day, then you feel like the habit is broken. Then you feel like you failed again. Then the guilt of having failed again makes opening the app or the podcast feel like confronting your failure, and avoidance feels safer than confrontation.
This is exactly the spiral I fall into every time.
So the rule is absolute. Miss one day? That's human. Miss 2 days, that's a choice. And on the day after you miss, you do not try to catch up. You do not do double sessions to compensate. You just do your minimum, your 5 minutes. You restart the chain, quietly, without drama.
No guilt, no big restart, just here's today's 5 minutes. The chain continues.
The most important mindset shift in habit building is this. Missing is not failing. Missing and not coming back is failing. The chain can handle a broken link. What kills it is abandoning the chain entirely because of one broken link. Strategy 5. Track it. Make your habit visible.
Like a habit tracker.
Yes, it can be as simple as a calendar on your wall where you put a cross on every day you do your English habit. After a week of crosses, you have a chain. After 2 weeks, the chain is growing, and the visual chain creates its own motivation. You don't want to break it.
Ha! The power of a cross on a calendar. It sounds almost too simple.
It is almost too simple, but it works because it makes the invisible visible. Progress in language learning is hard to see day to day. You can't measure fluency the way you measure weight or kilometers run, but you can see a chain of crosses on a calendar, and those crosses represent real time, real effort, real progress, even when you can't feel it yet.
And on the days I feel like I'm not improving, I can look at the calendar and say, but I showed up every day. That's something real.
That's everything real. The showing up is the work. The improvement follows. It always does. I want to say something honest. Building a habit is not a one-time decision. It is a daily renewal. Every day you choose to keep going is a vote for the person you are becoming. And some days that vote is enthusiastic and energetic. And some days that vote is barely a whisper, 5 tired minutes before sleep. Both votes count equally.
The tired 5 minutes count as much as the energetic 30.
They count more in some ways, because choosing to show up when you are tired and unmotivated is proof to yourself that you are serious. Not just serious when it is convenient, serious when it is hard. And that proof, that personal evidence, is what builds the identity of someone who does this, not just someone who wants to do this.
I have always been someone who wants to learn English. I want to become someone who does learn English every day.
And the difference between those two people is not intelligence or time or talent. It is just the daily vote. Cast it enough times and the identity changes. You stop being someone who is trying to build a habit. You become someone who has one.
Smiling. That shift sounds small, but it feels enormous.
It is enormous. It is everything. Vocabulary Tour. 8 words from today. All about habits, consistency, and growth. Word 1. Cumulative. Building up gradually over time through many small additions.
Example, 10 minutes a day has a cumulative effect that transforms your English over a year. Or, the cumulative impact of daily reading is enormous, even when individual sessions feel small.
Word 2. Compounding. When small gains build on each other over time, creating much larger results than expected.
Example, language learning has a compounding effect. Every new word makes the next one easier to learn. Or, the compounding interest of daily habit is the most powerful force in personal growth.
Word 3. Anchor. Something stable and fixed that you attach something else to. Here, a daily routine that triggers your habit.
My morning coffee is my anchor for English listening practice. Or, she used her commute as an anchor for reviewing vocabulary every day.
Word 4. Sustainable. Something that can continue for a long time without breaking down or burning out.
Example, A 5-minute daily habit is more sustainable than an hour-long weekly one. Or, sustainable progress is always better than dramatic but short-lived effort.
Word 5. Identity. How you see yourself, the kind of person you believe you are.
Example, when you build a daily habit, you shift your identity from someone who wants to learn English to someone who does. Or, identity-based habits are the most powerful because they change who you are, not just what you do.
Word 6. Renewal. The act of beginning something again with fresh energy and commitment.
Example, building a habit is a daily renewal. Every morning you choose it again. Or, after a difficult week, she felt a sense of renewal when she restarted her reading habit.
Word 7. Avoidance. The act of staying away from something uncomfortable, often making things worse in the long run.
Example, avoidance of practice is the main reason English learners stop improving. Or, his avoidance of difficult conversations kept his speaking from growing.
Word 8. Consistent. Doing something regularly in the same way, reliable and steady over time.
Example, she was consistent. She never let 2 days pass without some English practice. Or, consistent small efforts always outperform inconsistent big ones.
Action steps. 5 things to do starting today, not Monday, today. Step 1. Decide on your minimum. What is the smallest amount of English practice you can genuinely commit to every single day? 5 minutes? 1 page? 3 new words? Write it down. That is your daily promise to yourself.
Smiles. Step 2. Find your anchor. Pick one thing that already happens in your day. Coffee, commute, lunch, before sleep, and attach your English habit to it. Write the SAC out loud. After I do this, I will do that.
Step 3. Choose content you actually enjoy. One English podcast, show, book, or channel that you want to spend time with. Not something you feel you should, something you want to.
Smiles. Step 4. Start your tracker today. A calendar, a notebook, an app. Put a cross on today. The chain begins now.
Thoughtful. Step 5. Write in the comments what your English habit will be. Your minimum, your anchor, your content. Say it out loud, because saying it makes it more real, and we genuinely want to hear it.
Calm. Quick recap. Consistency beats everything. The plant needs daily water, not a monthly flood. Habits collapse because they are too big, dependent on motivation, and not anchored to anything stable. The 5 strategies: make it tiny, use habit stacking, choose enjoyable content, never miss twice, and track it. These build a habit that outlasts any burst of motivation.
Warm. And every day you show up, even for 5 tired minutes, is a vote for the English learner you are becoming.
Smiles. If this felt like your warm morning corner for English today, please subscribe to World English Podcast. Share this with someone who keeps starting and stopping, and come back next week. We will be here. Same slow pace, new conversation. Warm. This was World English Podcast, and I'm Leo.
Calm. And I'm Mia. Until next time, start small, stay consistent, and remember, you do not need to be perfect. You just need to show up.
Both. Bye, everyone. See you tomorrow.